Ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, a good friend of mine, quite unfortunately, fell down quite the toxic rabbit hole. The rabbit hole of the Zootopia abortion comic. A comic that has become so infamous on the internet for being just incredibly cursed. Some kind of weird dystopian fan fiction that is also some crazy psychological horror. So I come here today to tell you that I have never read it. I know I haven't. I've been saving myself. I have been protecting my Zootopia abortion comic virginity. As you know, I love all things on the internet cursed. And unfortunately, we're doing it, baby. We are jumping right into the goddamn Zootopia abortion comic. Ass first, just like I like to do it. I'm ready to feel something wrong. Because here's the thing. I love cursed, random, disgusting, horrible, vile internet shit. It's like my favorite thing. So this is gonna be great.
You have probably seen this brain-damaging image somewhere.
I have.
It might have even been yesterday when I made it the thumbnail of a video.
And I love this man. I love him.
Wherever you saw it, you probably also saw this one, like, right after. Whether it was the original...
Yeah, and then I saw lots of porn. There is way too much Zootopia porn. Listen, Markiplier smash or pass on Zootopia comics when?
Screenshot where the dialogue is Judy Hopps and Nick Wilde having a dispute over what to do with their unborn child, or it was them arguing about literally anything else, like where pee is stored, whether...
Bro, I love memes. Memes are just glorious. Memes are beautiful because they're so beautifully cringe. You could take a scene from something incredibly dark and traumatizing, and you could just turn it into a meme. You could just put funny haha, pee is stored in the balls, and you're like, damn, this is so hilarious.
Twinkies are good, thinking about Arby's, or if there's just not arguing at all. Instead, Judy is creaming over Nick's Gaber brain. This image has
I'm not a furry, but I can acknowledge the beauty.
essentially run victory laps around every corner of the internet. Hi again, guys. And you probably already know this, but that image is from a comic called I Will Survive.
Oh! I'm getting into the rabbit hole, baby! I'm literally so excited. You don't understand something. I love cursed internet shit. Just the randomest, weirdest, wildest, most vilest, cursed garbage on the internet. It makes me so unbelievably happy.
By an artist named Borba. The comic on its own is nuts, but the rabbit hole, not Judy.
I've seen a lot of rabbit holes on Rule 34, I'm not gonna lie, bro.
You freak. It goes so much deeper. I'm still not talking about Judy's weirdo. I don't just mean all the
Does it make me weird to want to see Judy Hopps' rabbit hole?
Came out of this, but also the fact that there are 2 direct sequel comics in multiple spin-offs of the first one. Each one is always somehow crazier than the last. If you haven't read this LSD simulator yet...
I didn't. I'm currently watching Adventure Time. That's my LSD simulator. But I literally get off to weird shit on the internet. Now, it's not because I'm a furry. Listen. If you see my boner while I'm watching this video, it has nothing to do with the fact that it's a furry. It's purely and simply because I love weird shit on the internet. It makes me hard. Happy is what I meant. You know, sometimes you don't want to be horny. You just want to be happy.
I want to let you know that full spoilers ahead for all of these comics, so be warned.
Thank God. I freaking love spoilers. You don't need to experience it alone. You could experience it with friends. You could experience it with Quite.
Actually, if you want to experience the full saga written and illustrated by Borba before we get into the analysis, I actually did a full reading of all 3 comics where I read every
Zootopia fetus deletus. No!
every piece of dialogue that
If you see my boner, it's because I love weird shit, not furries.
you can watch on my second channel. There will be this big card at the end of this video that'll take you there if you want to check it out. Also, did you know that only like 1/5 of y'all are subscribed? Kind of hurts my feelings. If you sub and hit that bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always...
That's not true for me, because you see, even though you are subbed and all that on my main channel, you probably will miss uploads, simply because I am shadow banned. And every time I tell this to someone, they say, Nux, you're not shadow banned, it makes no sense that YouTube would shadow ban you. I'm like, yes. That is why my channel with 2.2 million subscribers, when I upload a video, the video gets 100,000 impressions. Not views, impressions.
Do it later if you change your mind. Alright, I gave you the spoiler warning. The comic ends with Judy getting JFK'd. I'm not kidding.
Oh, Lord.
You're literally looking at the picture of it happening. How are you gonna tell me I'm wrong? But there's a whole lot of other shit that happens in between that's worth going through before we crank it to 11. Turning back the clock, the first story is titled I Will Survive. I already told you that. But fun little piece of trivia, it's actually taken from the song of the same name by
Okay, alright.
Gloria Gaynor. This is a naming convention that continues through each of the following installments,
Very
where
cool.
each is named after a classic 70s or 80s song. Part
So you're saying it's just JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, except it's about abortions and rabbit holes.
2 is Born to Be Alive by Patrick Hernandez, and Part 3 is Never Say Goodbye by Bon Jovi. Every track name is relevant to the theme of the comic itself because, believe it or not, the writing is actually serious in this, and the author found a way to awkwardly cram the song names into the dialogue.
Bro, there's no way! I love when they never say goodbye to me again. Bro! It's like when they say, it's Patrick, it's you! You're the American Psycho!
Somewhere in one of the panels for each and every comic. Now, for as eyebrow-raising as the entire concept of the Zootopia of
It seems like you could even kill our baby for your career. Damn. Bro, I can't believe this is real.
abortion comic is, I Will Survive is still the most grounded one. It's relative. Please cut me some slack. I believe it treats itself the most seriously and is the one least warped and defiled by the internet's opinion of it. The plot is essentially what I've said up till now. Judy finds out she's pregnant with her and Nick's child and breaks the news to him as if something awful is happening. But when she tells Nick, he is ecstatic.
I love how he said that. I love how he said that! And breaks the news to him as if something truly awful is happening. Children!
And is so excited to be a dad, but he is
Yo, that is so wholesome until it's not.
none too happy when Judy decides she doesn't want to keep it.
That's when life gets real. This is when you eject the imposter, baby. Imposter ejected.
She has her own reasons, like that since the baby's first predator-prey crossbreed, it might not only be shunned for society for being different, but they may be too big for Judy to birth at all.
Oh, so real. I didn't, consider that, but yes.
Meaning there could be possible complications during
Complications? Yo, is this whole story just a complication?
childbirth that could kill her. On top of that, she's
Yeah, I
a
would say.
career-invested woman, a girl boss, if you will. Perhaps the girl boss down the line. And she doesn't want to have a child that
sure.
could interrupt her trajectory in life at a time that could undo what she's worked for before she's ready for it. She speaks on how she's a symbol for praise.
Bro, who wrote this? Tagashi? What is this freaking page? It's all words.
Species like her, who were looked down on as weak, and giving everything she's done up till this point could be devastating for those people. And yeah, we already know Nick is not happy and absolutely freaking out about this. Some awful shit to Judy. Let me source from the text like my English teachers all beat me into doing. You know who I am. You know what I am. You know what's at stake for me since we first met. And you know full well that I did everything for my
God.
career. Yes, I do know. It seems
Bro, this is the famous image.
like you could even kill our baby for your career.
And shit just doesn't get any easier. Oh my God.
His walkout line at the end of this comic is calling it premeditated sin. The killing your baby for your
Lord.
career comment
Oh,
is what
God.
sent Judy over the line though, and she just strikes him. She leaves that
This is some sort of wild shit. I cannot believe someone decided to write this. What kind of weird mentality did someone have going into this? It's not because they're horny. Listen, whenever I see the horny fanfics, I'm like, oh, I know exactly what went through your head before you posted this. Before you decided to think about it and make this shit, you knew I knew where your headspace was. But where was your headspace when you were writing this? What?
round 3 COD Zombies tally mark across his face, and it draws blood, sending him dolphin diving to the ground. She immediately regrets going sicko mode, but the deed is
She just girl bossed a little too close to the sun.
already done, and Nick decides that's when to call it quits. I mean, fair enough, if you got, hit and shit, I would probably try to get out of that building as well.
Yeah, that's honestly, that sounds pretty bad. That's like dating Illuminati, honestly. This is like some sort of wild shit.
But before he leaves, he gives the
Homies, let me just remind y'all, if you're in an unhealthy relationship, cut the umbilical cord. Get the fuck out of there, please.
Judy, imagine if you got aborted. All your potential would have been lost spiel, and that hurt.
Oh my God, they really went through that. They really went through that. Imagine if you got aborted. Is that even okay anymore? Bro, they're really going all out. Both ends of the spectrum here.
Not existing would mean his life would still be a mess because she wouldn't be in it. I know this part isn't what we're supposed to take away from that, but this is funny enough how we learned Nick was a canon alcoholic
Oh my God, I thought he was just sitting in a pile of cum. I'm just...
in this universe. This will come up later. He pleads with her to keep the
Bro, there's continuity in this shit? Oh my God.
fetus and not delete us it one last time, but she says no, wanting Nick to stay so they can talk it out nonetheless though. But he's not hearing it anymore, and then he's gone for good. This last panel double page
You lost both of them at the same time. You don't have to come back anymore. Nick, if you walk out the door... No. Nothing lasts forever, even an everlasting love. Bro, they did not need to make her so thick in the panel that she's... Anyway, that's not... What I was trying to think is like, bro, this is actually so insane at connoting emotion. Like, why... This is like better quality than it has any right to have.
Spread is like fucking crazy to look at. You just have Judy Hopps' cheeks full on in the view.
Oh, dude, Quiet and I, literally the same page. You see a crying lady furry over there? First thing we were both thinking of is...
Picture of that dude butt naked asking all sad, why is everyone so mean to me? Now, I think it's important we look at the aftermath and response to this comic because its virality and reception directly influence future installments. I mean, how could it not?
Oh,
Firstly, like I said, Judy is fine as hell in this comic.
So real, so true, so real, and true. For furries, at least. I'm not a furry, so like I personally wouldn't be into it, but like if I was a furry, I'd be like all over this.
Every drawing of her has her cheeks staring directly at me.
There's no coincidence. Like, dude, you may have wanted to write some sort of crazy horror thriller shit, but you are definitely attracted to this bunny.
Making an impression on the viewer. Even the ones where she's crying. And I mean...
Bro, I told you! I'm glad he's saying this! I thought I was a psycho for being like, Lord have mercy, why is her bootay in my face when she's crying? And I was literally thinking that. I thought I was crazy. Good thing I'm not crazy and I'm perfectly normal and sane. Right, chat? Perfectly normal and sane, chat.
And hey, I'm not bringing this up because I'm a furry, seeing as I'm not one of those, but...
Yo! He just like me! For real, for real!
Rather because this particular aspect of this one is noticeably toned down in future entries. It might have been...
Lame! See, I like when I see a woman just crying on the floor. I like when I cannot see where her shorts end and her thighs begin.
Stylistic change that the author made over time as the way they draw changed, but also could have been a purposeful creative decision. I'll never know for sure. I think the main reaction the public had when this comic first went viral was just complete confusion. Nobody had any goddamn idea if this comic was meant as a joke or not. And
no, what's so crazy is if the fanfic isn't porn, you're just like wondering why.
Can you blame them? Because the words Zootopia, abortion, and comic all together sounds like a Quiplash prompt.
Honestly, it sounds ridiculous.
Thing is, everybody thought if it was a joke, it was an incredibly high-effort one. One with a serious tone that it kept up throughout its entire length with truly biting writing and drama. The biggest thing I personally saw that this comic was criticized for was portraying Judy and Nick as completely out of character. I mean, they definitely criticized...
Oh man, I can't believe that the Zootopia abortion comic is taking these characters and changing them in some way. That's so cringe. I really hate that they did that.
As other things about it, but about the comic as a comic itself, I'm pretty sure it was mainly that. Are you gonna tell me this art is bad? It's not like you can really go after it for the art. This shit is stunning. Some people claimed that Nick would never act in the way he did, and that the same went for...
Nick would never do that because he likes murdering babies in my headcanon.
For Judy. Probably some truth to that, but I think the liberties taken with the characters' personalities led people to believe that at least in this first entry, it was made without irony. Just using these characters and universe as a vessel for an actual narrative that the author probably wanted to tell. People did end up settling...
It's crazy. This is actually art, though. Like, they actually told, like, a really meaningful story. That just blows my mind. And destroys my penis.
On, oh shit, this was probably for realsies, which probably heightened the absurdity of it all for some people. But if it was meant to be taken seriously, a lot of people were trying to figure out what exactly was it saying. Was it meant to be pro-choice or pro-life or neither at all?
That's the beauty. It's meant to be telling you a story about two people with different values in a relationship together, how it will eventually crumble. Because it's not about attraction, it's not about love, it's about ideologies that can work well together with each other. And also because bunnies are hot when they're drawn in some ways that I personally would not be attracted to them, but like if I was attracted to furries, goddamn Judy would get it.
Well, who knows? It seemed like, at least at the start, it tried to present the best possible version of both arguments, but in retrospect, it almost comes off like the ambiguity was unintentional, as the author themselves said this was never meant to be taken as a pro-life work, as it was not a position that Borba holds. Going into the second one, Borba said that making
it wasn't meant to be taken as anything, it's a Zootopia abortion comic.
A sequel was a tough decision, as the first one, becoming so controversial because of the abortion aspect, was not the intention. They claimed it was meant to mainly be a breakup story that had that specific story element as the...
I just wanted to make clear that no, this is not actually supposed to be about abortion. Yes, it's known as the Zootopia abortion comic because the premise is absolutely fucking absurd.
Catalyst for the general reason that Nick and Judy broke up. I guess depending on your angle, you could read the first comic as both characters being portrayed as potentially morally correct, or at least having understandable motivations, which maybe created that buzz about it being...
Honestly, that's why it's well written. It's because It's not that it's about pro-choice or about pro-life. It's about a relationship where one party wants to keep their baby and the other party does not. That's why it's so powerful. It's not about morals. It's about a relationship where both sides want something different.
Pro-life, but seeing as this was a talking point Borba themselves made about deciding whether or not to make the second comic, in Born to Be Alive, it seems like the story takes a firmer stance on who was right and who was wrong in the previous installment, assuming a harder position on the formerly ambiguous issue. Born to Be Alive starts a year later. Nick,
they really felt like they needed to do that? Oh my god, bro. Why do writers... Okay, obviously I understand why. As a YouTuber, I get criticized literally constantly. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do get it. But, like, if you create art or comic or content or anything and you get criticism, the best thing you could do is ignore it. The moment you play into that criticism, even for a half second, you're taking that L.
Is scrabbling at Judy's and his former apartment door in the middle of the night, begging to see her. She doesn't want to see him, so he tries to step in the building without permission and gets his toes crushed into taco season.
Oh, man. Oh, God. I can't even acknowledge the fact that we're getting these toes for free right now. Like, I can't even acknowledge that.
But after some hustling, as Nick puts it, I would say it just lying, Judy regretfully lets him in. You'll probably notice that the background work is a lot more detailed.
Bro, this is actually such high quality shit. I can't believe it. This is insane.
On this one, it seems like the level of effort put into the little things was upped, but it's in that extra effort where you start to see the irony that has become synonymous with these comics.
Yeah, because so much effort and writing and time and consideration went into a story about Zootopia fanfiction abortion shit.
Seeping into the brain of the person actually making them. Like Arby's is called
Oh my god, there's no way! Look at this panel!
Synonymous with these comics, seeping into the brain of the person actually making them. Like Arby's.
This is insane! The lengths they went to! Look at this scene! Forget our bitches over here. Look at this comic with the Wonder Woman and what's her face, Judy, and the pattern on the paper towels. 90% of Shonen Jump doesn't look this good.
Is called Our Bitches in this universe. There's tons of little knickknacks laying around the house that are references to memes and other shit. It's a lot of tongue-in-cheek Easter egg inclusion that not only makes this universe feel more fleshed out and lived in, but also subtly tells the viewer that this comic is at least on some level a response to the reactions towards the last one. After a bit more back and forth, Nick finds out Judy
This is like the weirdest, most schizophrenic love story I've ever seen in my life.
Went through what were, in his words, premeditated sin, and he is a bit shocked at it. It seems like he's about to moral grandstand her going through it, but instead, he gets on his knees begging for forgiveness. He holds her shoulders and begins groveling, then goes on a guilt-fueled tirade on how he was wrong and how he should never have left Judy. He apologized.
That's insane! First of all, can I just say that, like, she assaulted him? Even if he disagrees with her, and even if he disagrees with her wrongly, even if it's inappropriate for him to disagree with her, she punched him?
I get in the way of talking things out, and just the whole thing in general.
Bro, they're really out here being like, I bet you the artist got criticism for, well, the artist definitely got criticism. Everyone gets criticism. But I bet you the artist got criticism for, like, making it look like they thought abortion was up for debate, whether it was moral or not, where they wanted to just put down the moral opinion, the factual opinion that they wanted to release.
Found out that while he was gone, he'd fell back on his old ways. He was smoking cigarettes, banging animal prostitutes in ratty hotel rooms, and
he just like me, for real.
Drinking until he couldn't remember who he was. He says he regrets it and that he's changed his ways, and basically begs Judy to take him back. And while Judy does seem moved by Nick's words to some extent, she says that despite his regret, he still wasn't there when she needed Nick most, and that there's no taking that back.
Okay, true, real, I guess.
Gives Nick, but cannot reconcile with him.
Oh shit, what a bitch. I mean, I get it. Relationships are complicated. If you do abandon someone when they need... Why am I criticizing or talking about this like it's a legitimate piece of media? I guess it is, because so much work went into it. Why did so much work go into Zootopia abortion fanfiction?
He forgave his actions, but remembered his name. I wonder who first said that quote. I sure hope that doesn't foreshadow anything that's gonna happen later in the story.
Oh no. Oh no.
This response makes Nick freak out in a way where even the painting on the wall is side-eye.
Oh no.
Him. He desperately grabs onto Judy, unintentionally hurting her and making a ruckus. And the noise causes a new player to enter stage left.
Enter the ugly bastard Netorare character.
Judy's new partner, Shay the Fox.
Bro, how fast did this go? It's another fox? Jesus.
A female fox is Nick.
Oh. Well, this changes everything. Bunnies be bunnying.
puts it, who he feels replaced by. He
He's like, yes, I have a thing for foxes. You were always my boy toy. However, I don't care about genders and shit. What a girl boss.
doesn't understand how this happened, and Judy gives a Scott the Woz video retelling of what happened in the year since Nick walked out on her. She went through the procedure.
Oh, it's been a year. Okay, this makes a lot more sense now. I totally get why she wasn't taken back. I know that before I was like, so you're a bitch because you were also kind of an asshole. But this is a year of him not coming back. Honestly, I totally feel her.
Alone, and apparently Judy Hopps is the first ever rabbit to get an abortion. I
Oh. Oh, that's a plot point.
have no idea how that's possible, considering how much they fuck in Zootopia canon. But
Yeah, but that's because they have babies in Zootopia canon, so...
you know what? Sure. Anyways, she met Shay by chance at the hospital, who was there for a minor injury. Apparently, she had went through a breakup recently.
Oh, why is she so cute? It's not fair! God, why are you giving me these feelings?
Too, and they found friendship and comfort within each other. But through that friendship grew something more, making Judy and the abortiverse
Bro, look at this silhouette. Tell me this silhouette was not made thick on purpose.
canonically
Did he call it the abortiverse?
bisexual, a true bicon. Mr. Wilde then quickly became homophobic. He told Judy to
This is so mean to this guy's character. Why would they do that? Please dump this Leslie. Oh, no!
dump this, and I'm quoting here, Leslie, because she's just fooling herself into liking her. Some real bad shit. He puts hands on Judy, hurting her again, and Shay tries to stop him, but in a cruel, ironic twist, Nick pushes that fox to the ground, injuring her in the same way Judy did to him. At this
Oh my God.
point, Judy's had it up to here, and somehow stands on his torso while holding him by his
I want her to stand on my torso and hold me by the scruff of my shirt. I'm just saying, like,
neck at the same time. Oh yeah.
I would love if she could do that to me.
Yeah, this shot here is also the best example of Judy's rump being toned down. This
Ah! They nerfed it! God damn it, she got the Overwatch treatment.
shot would have been angled towards the camera in the first comic, even though the scene was tense as hell. After that, Judy kicks Nick out and cuts him off forever. She closes the door on his face and then
And locks all three of the locks!
begins crying before falling into Shay's arms and kissing her in comfort. And
Oh my God, they really went all out with that.
that's the end of that one. It's basically just the plot of Doom Eternal. Yeah,
That's fucking crazy. I cannot believe that they actually went, they really went all out for this comic.
if you thought the author was taking creative liberties with the characters before, you are probably down a few lobes in your brain right about now. Let's just go down the list. Nick was not only formerly pro-life and an alcoholic, but he also hates gay people. I find this interpretation of Nick Wilde unlikely to be true.
Really? You think so? You think that the Disney show, the Disney show that made, you think Disney that made Zootopia and made Nick Wilde, you know, like probably the best character in the entire movie. You think that they actually made him a pro-life guy that also votes for Trump and hates gay people? Like, you really, you don't think that that's real? You don't? Wow, I'm surprised, honestly.
Considering the amount of gay porn he's in. It
Yes! Man finally preaches. Let's go.
feels like this comic has gotten way off the rails at this point, if there were ever train tracks to start with, but it reads like a real-time reflection of the author's change of approach having come off the first work being mean to oblivion. The moments of shock
I think that the second chapter fell off so badly purely because suddenly the author had a fan base that they felt the need to appease.
and shitpost ability that came by chance from the original almost feel intentionally inserted here, for better or for worse. The dialogue choices and scenarios that they set up here feel like they were made on purpose to get the same vibe that people got from the first one on accident. This did have the potential to feel forced and kind of ruin it. It's like Tommy Wiseau trying to make his movie shit on purpose. The difference is
True.
these comics have never been shit.
Dude, I love Quite commentary. This man's so hilarious.
They've just been absurd. The quality of the art and the fact that on some level at all times the comic treated its inherently ridiculous premise with some level of sincerity kept it from crumbling apart like the skin on the
That's the beauty of it. I think it's the fact that it's such a ridiculous premise, yet they still take it so seriously. That's just so funny.
bottom of my foot. And I'm really glad it's lasted this long because the third part is even fucking crazier.
Yes! Yes! I freaking love crazy stories like this. This is everything I ever wanted.
And I'm not even talking about the JFK bit. Before that, though, and also because someone might ask about this, there is a mid-sequel between parts 2 and 3 called The Longest Night. The thing
Why does this literally have a more convoluted canon than the Monogatari franchise? This is like the Fate franchise of abortion.
It's really a spin-off. It's not plot
The Fate franchise of furries.
relevant, and it has straight polar bear titty in it. So I
Let's freaking go is what I would say if I was into polar bear titty, which I'm not. So like honestly, I'm not really that excited about it. But let's go.
can't really show you the full images. Every site I found the full comic on was either a hentai hosting site
Let's go.
or just E621. That's
Let's go.
the Furry Rule 34 site, if you didn't know.
I didn't know, actually. Thank you for telling me about that. I had no idea. What's it called again? I don't remember, actually. I'm gonna use it later for a video.
Listen, if you really want the rundown, let me give you this. Do you remember the prostitute that Nick got with in Chapter 2?
Yeah, prostitutes are awesome. Anyway.
This is basically
I mean, listen, I'm just saying, like, get that bag, girl, you know what I'm saying?
her backstory. She's working the
We have the backstory of the prostitute that Nick slept with in a backstory of episode 2.
streets looking for folks who want to pay to fuck, and she stumbles upon Nick before inviting him back to a room. And after they get
she can get it.
done canoodling, apparently
If I was a furry, that is, which I'm not. I'm never gonna. Yeah, yeah.
Nick leaves a way oversized tip, which makes the woman think he's an idiot for overpaying. And it turns out that at the end of the day, she used that money to buy groceries and toys to support her child.
Bro, there ain't no way we're doing this!
It keeps this comic centered around the whole series' themes of parenthood and responsibilities to those you care about. Trust me, that'll seem more like a theme after part 3.
Oh my god, what is happening?
Listen, I don't have a lot of analysis to do on 2.5. I've read it significantly fewer times than the main 3, and I'm ready to get
Significantly fewer times than the main? How many times have you read the main 3?
this last one over with so I can get back to reading horny furry tweets and videos and
Dude, I love horny furry tweets. I may not be a furry, but the horny furry tweets make me so happy.
instead of pretending I can do any sort of media analysis. This is part 3, Never Say Goodbye. We start out in the urban center of Zootopia. Nick Wilde is working as a Boy Scout counselor, I think, and he seems happy and content with his life at this point. He's taking his scouts on a trip around the mall when a ruckus starts and people start running up to someone
Oh!
just got spotted. Probably Drake, if I had to guess. He's huge in Zootopia from what I hear. Just kidding. It's Judy Hopps, who is now the mayor of Zootopia. She's wearing a slick
No way she has the Trump.
suit and has
She has the Trump wig! What just happened?
now for some reason. And whatever that reason is, it's not good enough. I hate this. This is like the one creative decision I will actively rail against on all accounts.
I disagree. I think that having clip-on Trump bangs is the greatest decision that could have possibly been made.
The hairstyle Borba chose is like a weird middle ground between Hillary and Trump, and it makes me uncomfortable.
Oh my god, it is Hillary and Trump!
Hairstyle Borba chose is like a weird middle ground between Hillary and Trump, and it makes me uncomfortable to look at, like something out of a Lovecraft novel. Whatever. She's flanked on all sides by security, and amidst the people calling her name, Nick calls her by a nickname only he would know. And Judy realizes that it's him
What is this face?
calling it out in the crowd. She walks over to talk to him and catch up because apparently it's been 10 long years since they last saw each other, and Nick has a beer belly now, just like me.
I thought it was pregnant. I was like, ha! Well, thank you for creating such a beautiful utopia. Anyway, I'm pregnant. Fuck her over a little bit. Just scare her.
For real. The security creates a perimeter around them so they can talk in peace, and Nick introduces his Boy Scouts to the mayor. He shows his disciples a picture of him and Judy when they were buddy cops. They reminisce about their times together while seeming to accept that the romance between them is in the past, but they can look back fondly on it for
Honestly, that's kind of really mature.
the most part. Now, among the kids Nick was introducing is Nicholas Piberius Wilde Jr.
Now that is a name and a half.
Nicholas had a kid of his own in the last time him and Judy saw each other, and it turns out he is a doting father who loves to embarrass
That's
his
so
kid in
cute.
public. Also,
Oh, just like everyone's father ever. God, fathers are so good at embarrassing their children.
Nick is apparently a baller now. He wears a gold watch at all
Yo, he's just like XQC for real. This watch, Judy, is worth more than your entire house.
times now because he's apparently owner of half the city's land, but
What the fuck? They did not take the homophobic guy, the pro-Trump guy that they were trying to cram in, and they're like, yeah, he's also a huge landlord now. He's also, you know, oppressing the poor.
also a wedding ring. Finally having found somebody to settle down with.
Let me guess, the prostitute.
Interestingly enough, in the next panels, Borba brought back Judy Hopps' Thunder Thighs.
Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Interesting creative decision.
I disagree. I think that this is the creative decision. I would go as far as to say that this is why this entire story was created. It all stemmed from a boner, and everything went downhill from there.
But whatever. They agree that this many years removed from what happened between them, they are on good terms. But just because they're good doesn't mean everything else is. Judy faces new trouble from people who are not supportive of her being mayor. Apparently, there are small groups of radical extremists who do not want mammal
Brother, they actually delve into the freaking geopolitics here.
kind to be integrated. These groups are either pro-predator or pro-prey and do not want to see these groups like get integrated. Seems pretty straightforward, right? Well, I shit you not. Borba drew a black and white
Racism W, let's go.
panel of said extremists doing the Nazi salute.
Oh my fucking god. I was joking. Oh my fucking god.
Banners wave overhead. When I first scrolled and saw that damn panel, I actually choked on my own spit.
Yeah, no, that's crazy.
It's a choking hazard. It's the second craziest thing that happened in this entire series.
second craziest.
I don't know how to segue out of that. I guess after that sobering talk, Judy's now wife, Shay, comes up the escalator with some other folks. They're kids. She's dressed as a first lady would be, bolstering the presidential vibe Judy has. Just take note of which first lady she's dressed like.
Oh, ain't no way. Ain't no way!
Bolstering the presidential vibe Judy has. Just take note of which first lady she's dressed like. It's come full circle.
Kennedy's wife, get it?
Though. Judy has found the balance she needed to live out her career while also starting a family if
Oh man, no, Nick is gonna go through his Joker arc!
she so chose to.
This is so much. This is just too much. It's so much.
Keyword being choice. Shay is nervous meeting Nick again, understandably, but he sincerely apologizes to her for his actions, and they're
I'm so sorry I beat you up, random woman with incredibly powerful political ties that can absolutely fuck me if you ever so wanted.
both moved to tears as they reconcile. What a bunch of crybabies. They should just bottle up
that is
their
so
emotions and
wholesome.
never talk about their problems
Yo, just like me.
like normal people.
Yes! That didn't age well.
It's a happy ending that wraps the experiences these two have been through together in a nice bow. Judy has to go off and do politician things, but Nick gives her one last hug. And then he says the name of the comic, Never Say Goodbye to Me Again.
Brother, they really out there. They really did that, huh?
Judy, my friend. Roll credits. They both agree to not ever say goodbye in a heartfelt manner and part ways, going on to live their separate lives. Here at the end, it feels like
Bro, this is like an actual ending, right? Like, that's so wholesome, and it's ending now, right? Right? It's gonna end. There's not gonna, it's right?
thematically, the story has come full circle. It started with really intense drama that stayed unresolved and caused these two to go to some of the worst places they've been mentally. But at the end, given
Bro, you're really gonna call Nick's wife the worst place he could go mentally? Damn, that's dark.
time to heal, they have been able to put their lives on track and settle down in the way that they wanted for themselves. There's probably some symbolism about how Judy didn't want to get pregnant and give birth, so she adopted and started a family that way.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that was symbolic or anything. I just feel like at that point in her career, she wasn't willing to have kids, and only now is she actually willing to, but she's married to a woman, so they adopted. I feel like that makes sense, I guess, right? That's not weird.
And also how Nick finally had a kid with someone else.
Which is also, you know, full circle there too. Wholesome.
But right now, I'm not here to dissect that shit. You've probably noticed that there's a distinct lack of somebody's brains getting blown out, so you know we're not done.
I know it's ending like that. I don't want to. Why am I getting invested in these fake characters? In this, not just fake characters, it's a fan fiction world, and I'm invested, and I hate it.
What I haven't shown you are the extra pages for Never Say Goodbye.
So not only are there 4 chapters, but there's also a secret middle chapter, and there's also extra pages to a different chapter.
Bye to Nick, Judy Hopps is pictured waving to the crowd from
Oh my god, from an eerily similar car to JFK.
her open-air vehicle. Rookie mistake, buddy. The next few frames are like directly ripped from the Zapruder film, the official footage of
No!
JFK getting blown by someone other than his wife for the last time. It
Oh, JFK was never blown by his wife. He did not seem like a happy man.
could have been traced. I would have no idea. We see crosshairs trained on Judy.
Bro, there's no way they really went this far. And I love how, like, right before this, they just randomly show the one-off panel. It's like, oh, hey, by the way, there are Sheep Hitler. Don't worry, guys. Sheep Hitler, never gonna see him again. Sheep Hitler's wholesome. We love Sheep Hitler.
And in a rare instance of color, her skull gets cracked open. It is
Oh my fucking god, that's brutal. Bro, I may not be a furry, but I am a necrophiliac. That was a joke! That was a joke!
skull gets cracked open. It is really almost unexpectedly violent. The way they drew the
Oh my fucking god. This is brutal. This is insanity.
expressions for the reactions is absolutely petrifying. The blood looks so viscous and detailed, and they redraw more frames directly from the Zapruder film. They have one mimicking Jackie Kennedy's scramble to protect JFK's still warm body, and then it cuts to the 2 assassins, a pro-prey and pro-predator one who were trying to frame the other side for the murder. It
Oh my god, dude, bro. It's like getting the racists all blame each other.
literally didn't mean shit because they both got arrested anyways. And listen, I know the subject matter of this comic hasn't been exactly kid-friendly. Like,
I disagree. I think children all over the world should see this.
the topics are heavy for sure, but
Exactly.
even for Borba, this feels like a huge escalation. Like, there was nothing particularly graphic up to this point, and just a last-second political assassination of one of the main characters with gratuitous amount of details.
It's honestly, I think you're just not understanding the world of fan fictions. The beauty of fan fictions are, unless they're porn, they will not have a happy ending.
It feels so out of place and almost unreal, and that's because it was. It was a fake out. Judy's corpse comes back to life and licks the red stuff off her face.
No! We were debated! There ain't no way that happened!
It's apparently cherry jam. Her kids think it's tasty, seeing as they lick it directly off her face too. What the fuck? I genuinely have no words. So many of the collections I've seen of these pages just end at the headshot and treat it like that's where the comic ends.
Bro, honestly based.
They make you think Judy is really dead. You have to dig for these last few panels to confirm that Judy is in fact still rocking in the free world. And it's this moment where you absolutely have to know the author is fucking with us to some degree. I mean, by part 2 it was already pretty damn obvious, but
I think the fact that it's a Zootopia story about abortions is like, just, like, really obvious.
now it's literally impossible to deny. Don't get me wrong, they still treated the story like a serious narrative up till this point. Characters made choices that had consequences, and they had to repent and make up for their sins if they wanted forgiveness. The subject matter was genuinely harsh and presented without too much of a laugh at the moments it mattered. But as things carried on, Borba decided to get a little more and more silly, throwing some real curveballs at us.
Sure.
Like first Nick Wilde is an alcoholic, then he's hooking up with prostitutes, and then he's homophobic. All in that
Homophobic Nick Wilde, my favorite arc.
order, it's just like escalating. But then Borba also comes up with the concept for Zootopia Nazis. And the
Sheep Hitler. It's everything we wanted.
cherry on top is recreating the assassination of JFK with Zootopia characters. Borba has to have one of the most unique brains on Earth. They are probably in the top 1% of creatively skilled people, and they applied that incredible expertise to
In the wildest, stupidest, craziest, and also most impressive way of all time.
this shit. It clearly worked out because we're still talking about it, and they made these comics over the course of 4 years. This shit only wrapped up in like late 2021. This
That's
might be like a
insane.
really out of touch thing to say, but the entire process of this thing getting made almost speaks to me as a content creator on some level. Each following installment was shaped and molded by the reaction to the previous comics in some way, whether that was the tone shifting or subject matter of the story.
Actually insane how much went into this. Like, I can't believe it myself. Like, how much work went into this Zootopia abortion comic.
Being directly influenced by how people received the past one, even down to if a sequel was going to get made at all, heavily influenced by outside factors. It reminds me of the very slow process that happens to a YouTuber uploading over the course of dozens of videos across multiple years, changing their style slowly and slowly until you go back a few years and look at their old videos, and it feels like the shit they were making was radically different. It's
Yeah, don't watch my shit, my old shit. It's like, don't do that. Like, until up to just a couple of years ago, just stay away from it, honestly.
like that, but with Borba, you can see them making big leaps between each installment. It's like great leaps and bounds, if you will. Comic 1 is different from Comic 2, and that's different from Comic 3. It's kind of poetic, and just like that comic,
It's kind of poetic. Thus was the story of the Zootopia abortion comic, which is a real thing that exists on the internet. I'm so happy this exists.
I'm gonna end this video here. I think I've said enough. That card to my full reading of this graphic novel where I
Brother.
spare
Dude, I love Quite's videos so much. I love him. I love him. He's such a beautiful man. He's so sexy and kind and wholesome and hot and beautiful. Anyway, let's just thank you for being here. Thank you for joining and enjoying the Quitedom. That was quite the adventure we went on.
Like, subscribe, and follow me on Twitch. Stay weird, fam.